Hello. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna do the special right triangles. I'm just basically gonna show you that worksheet, the one I ran through class if you guys were just sleeping when I went over it. But just to summarize it, okay, so this hypotenuse, this is the handout I gave you. Then you get the handout, it's in the slideshow. I can give you an extra copy of this, but basically, this is the hypotenuse of a right triangle. Hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle. So it's going to be the square root of 2 times as long as each leg. Okay, so that's for 45, 45, 90 triangle. If you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, it's the case where the hypotenuse is going to be twice as long as a leg. So that means, for example, if this is going to be 16, then this is 8. If you want to solve for the longer leg is going to be the square root of 3 times as long as this short leg. So for example, if this short leg is 8, the long leg is going to be 8 square root of 3. So it's about 1.7 times 8. Or in the other case here for 45, 45, 90, if this short leg was like 3, then that means the hypotenuse is going to be 3 multiplied by about 1.4. Square root 2 is about 1.4. So yeah, I'm just going to show you that sheet, the one that we went over in class. Okay, so this one, find the value of x, write your answer in simplest radical form. Okay, what I see here, this is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is going to be square root of 2 times as long as leg. X is going to be 6 square root 2. Okay, number 2, I'm given a leg. Since I'm given a leg, I want to find the hypotenuse. So this is my leg that I use. So my leg is 9 square root 2, and I'm multiplying it by square root of 2 in order to solve for x. This is 9 multiplied by square root of 2 times square root of 2. So this is going to be 9. When I showed you this in class, the shortcut to this is just 9 times 2, which is 18. So if you guys don't know where that came from, I'll just write it up here. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 equals the square root of 2 squared. The square will cancel out with the square root, so that's 2. Okay, or another way to think about it, this is like this. Look for the partner in crime in the jail cell. One will get shot, one will get out. This is 2. Okay, number 3, given the hypotenuse. Since I'm given the hypotenuse, I need to solve for one of the legs. So what I'm doing is, since in this first case I multiplied by square root of 2 in order to solve for the hypotenuse, instead I have to divide by square root of 2 in order to solve for the leg. So this is 9 square root 2 divided by square root of 2. What I see is the square root of 2, so just cancel each other out, so x is just 9. Okay, number 4. This one here, this one's like number 1. I'm given one of the legs is 12, so that means the hypotenuse is just going to be 12 square root 2, because it's going to be square root of 2 times as long as one of the legs. Number 5, okay, so this one we're given the hypotenuse, and we're given the hypotenuse, I need to solve for one of the legs. So I solve for one of the legs, I divide instead of multiply. So x equals 8 divided by square root of 2. So what I need to do here is I need to get rid of the radical denominator, so I multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 2. So it's going to be 8 square root 2. The denominator is just going to be 2. So this is 4 square root 2, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. This is 4 square root 2. Number 6. Number 6, I'm given the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. So basically, this is going to be x equals 5 square root 2. And then you divide it by square root of 2, because you want to solve for one of the legs of the right triangles. Basically, the square root of 2, so cancel each other out. X is 5. Okay. One thing I wanted to also mention was this notation here. This notation means that these angles are congruent. Since angles are congruent, you can assume that this is 45 and 45 degrees if you know that this is a 90-degree angle. So just like this, we know that this side is the same as this side. We know that this angle is the same as this angle. So this same idea is applied here. And we know that this side is the same as this side. This angle is the same as this angle. So the same idea is applied there. So these are assumed to be 45, 45, 90 triangles. Okay. Number 7. Okay. So if we look at number 7 here, what we'll do, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fold this because Elmo doesn't let me go any further than that. Find the value of each variable, write your answers in simplest radical form. Okay, so we know the hypotenuse is going to be twice as long as the short leg. Since it's going to be twice as long as short leg, we're multiplying the short leg by 2. So x equals 5 root 3 multiplied by 2. Okay, this number will be combined with this number. Don't get it confused. Don't try to multiply this number into here, because there needs to be a square root. If there's a square root here, then over the 2 would be 5 square root 6. But since there's no square root here, this is just 5 multiplied by 2 square root 3. 5 times 2 is 10, so x is 10 square root 3. Okay. Now we want to solve for y. Okay, so we want to solve for y. What we know is that y, the long leg, is going to be the square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. Okay, so y equals 5 square root 3, and I'm multiplying that by square root of 3. Okay, so 5 multiplied by square root of 3 times square root of 3. The shortcut that I told you guys here was this part here. This is just 5 times 3. So the square root is going to cancel each other out, and 3 times 3 is 3 squared. So the square will cancel out with the square root. This is 5 times 3, y is 15. Okay, number 8. Number 8, I'm given the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 8. We want to find the short leg. The hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg. So that means if it's twice as long, that means the short leg is just going to be twice as small. So just 8 divided by 2. So x is 4. If we want to solve for y, y is going to be the square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. So then y equals 4 root 3. Okay, number 9. This one here, so we're given a long leg. So we're given a long leg, we need to solve for the short leg. Okay, so when the long leg is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. So in order to solve for x here, x is going to be 18 divided by the square root of 3. So just like this one here, we solve for the short leg is 4. So in order to solve for the long leg, you multiply it by square root of 3. In this case here, we're getting the long leg, so we need to find the short leg, so we divide by square root of 3. So here, we want to rationalize the denominator, so we want to multiply by square root of 3 on top and the bottom. So here, multiply the numerator, so 18 root 3, bottom is 3. So here I say 18 and 3 are in common. Basically, 18 divided by 3 is 6, so that means x is 6 root 3. Okay. Now if we want to solve for y. Y, we know, is twice as long as the short leg. Since y is twice as long as the short leg, just 2 multiplied by 6 root 3. So then this is basically 2 times 6 times root 3, which is 12 root 3. Just combine those together. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, number 10. Number 10, this one here, the hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg. So since the hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg, y is just 16 divided by 2, so that's 8. Okay, we want to solve for x. X is a long leg. So if we want to solve for a long leg, we just multiply by square root of 3. So x equals 8 times square root of 3. Number 11. Okay, so what I see is hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg. Since hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg, this is just 11 times 2. So x is 22. Okay, we want to solve for y. We're given the short leg is 11. The long leg is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. So y is just 11 root 3. Okay, number 12. What I see here is I want to solve for x. So if I want to solve for x, what I see is that the short leg is square root of 3 times shorter than the long leg. So if we know the long leg is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg, we're going to divide. So this is x equals 13 root 3 divided by root 3. So basically that cancels out. So x equals 13. Okay. So we want to solve for the hypotenuse. So if we want to solve for the hypotenuse, it's going to be twice as long as the short leg. So if we want to solve for y, y is basically 2 times 13. So that's 26. Okay. Number 13. Okay, number 13, what I see here is we're given one of the short legs. So this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So we know the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times as long as the shorter legs. So basically, or one of the legs. So basically, x is 5, y is going to be 5 root 2. Okay. I want to solve for x. If we want to solve for x, we're given that y is 4 root 2. So basically, since the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times as long as the short leg, so that means x is just going to be 4 root 2, and you divide it by root 2. Okay. Cancel out the square roots. X is 4. This one for y. So what you would do for this one is we're given that x is the square root of 2. So in order to solve for y, we know that the hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times as long as the short leg. The short leg is square root of 2. So that means y is square root of 2 times square root of 2. So then basically that's 2. Okay, this one here, you want to solve for y. So x, one of the short legs, is 9. So that means y is going to be the square root of 2 times as long as the short leg. So we want to solve for that. So that means y is equal to 9 square root 2. Okay. This one, I'm going to solve for x. we're given y is 24. So since y is 24, we know that the short leg is going to be square root of 2 times as short as the hypotenuse. So if we did the math here, so x would equal 24 divided by square root of 2. We want to rationalize the denominator, so we want to get rid of the square root in the denominator. So multiply by square root of 2 in the denominator and numerator. So this becomes 24 root 2. Denominator becomes 2. 24 divided by 2 is going to be 12. So x is 12 root 2. Okay. Last one, so number 14. Okay, so we know the short leg is 9. So if short leg's 9, we can easily solve for the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg. This is 18. Okay, so we want to solve for b. A is 9, b is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. So b is going to be 9 root 3. Okay. Let's see. So this one we're given b is 9. So if we're given b is 9, we know that the long leg is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. Since we know that this is square root of 3 times the short leg, we have to divide by square root of 3 in order to solve for the short leg. So a is just going to be 9 divided by square root of 3. So this is where we have to rationalize the denominator again. So we have to multiply the top by square root of 3 and the bottom by square root of 3. So what we know here is we can simplify numerator. This is 9 root 3, and the denominator is going to be 3. So 9 root 3 divided by 3, this is 3 root 3. Okay. Now I want to solve for c. So I want to solve for c. So c is twice as long as the short leg. Since c is twice as long as the short leg, this is just c is just going to be 2 multiplied by 3 root 3. So that's a 6 root 3. Okay. So this next one. Okay. So b is a long leg. So b is a long leg. So this is 5 root 3. A is going to be square root of 3 times as short as the long leg. So this will just basically cancel out. A is going to be 5. C is twice as long as A, so 5 times 2 is 10. This one, A, we're given A is 11, C is twice as long as A, so 11 times 2 is 22. B is square root of 3 times as long as short leg, this is 11 root 3. C, if we know that the hypotenuse is 16, the short leg is going to be twice as short, so this is 16 divided by 2, so A is 8. And lastly, for b, we know that b is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. Short leg is a, so this is 8 root 3. Okay, that pretty much summarizes how to do this worksheet. Rather than just staring at my solutions, copying them, and just assuming that you'll get it before the test. But please look at this. If you are struggling with this, and please come in for help. And if you need help, I'll gladly help you out before your test. So your test is going to be next week, Monday and Tuesday. Okay, thanks, bye.